Sheriff Bill Waybourn, great American, and we so appreciate his service and to the community and everything that he and his deputies are doing, because it's not easy. And Sheriff, it's always so good to see you. I can't imagine being a law enforcement officer because, and I was stressing to people earlier, the mask order and things like this. If people are uneasy or they're not happy with having stuff like this enforced, they need to actually be looking at the judges who are issuing these orders and the lawmakers who are writing it, not the people who are not writing the bills or passing the edicts or mandates that are expected to enforce them, though. Give me your take on this and what you make of this order, because you're sheriff of Tarrant County. Do I need to be wearing my mask outside in the parking lot? I'm just curious.
Well, I don't think so. That I can tell you about the reference that you made about the county commissioner's court yesterday.
Yes.
And what was going on there. And we did have several anti-maskers show up, which is absolutely their right. And I will tell you that I sympathize and empathize with them. But what happened yesterday, where law enforcement interceded, is that while the judge issues the order, our most conservative district attorney of a major county concurred that he had a constitutional right to do that. And furthermore, the most conservative attorney general, state attorney general in the United States said, yes, you got to obey these orders that the judge has written while you're in the building. And in each of these cases where deputies intervened with these people, Dana, we were asking them 5 and 6 times, literally begging them to obey the orders and please go to this room or stay out of this security corridor. They absolutely refused to do that. And that's when they were escorted out of the building and asked not to come back. The judge did issue an order through November. I'm not trying to second guess him, but I'd rather take shorter increments to get us where we need to be.
Well, and honestly, I don't want you to feel like I'm putting you in this position, because frankly, I don't think that you should be in the position to explain the judge's order, because you're not the people. He's on a ballot. People vote for these people. So, and regardless of whether or not they like how the system operates, this is how the system operates. If they don't like the fact that this judge wrote this order, maybe 23% of the voting population here in Texas that stayed home will go out next election and make sure that judge doesn't get reelected again, instead of taking it up with you and your deputies.
That's exactly right, and that's the appropriate process.
Yeah, that's where I don't mean to get sassy pants about it, but I do, because I feel like people forget how civics works. I am about anti-mask as the day is long, but I'm not one of those people who's going to force private businesses to bake the cake, so to speak, right? I respect private property, and I respect the capital that these people put in and the time to start their business. That I didn't do it. I'm not there to turn off the lights at night and shut the doors. They are. So if there's something I want, I'll wear. I wanted the other day. Actually last month, I wanted root beer and Pop Rocks and a couple of other things. And I went in this candy store on Great. I'm not telling you where it is either, because you're going to go get all the root beer cane. I went in there. They required a mask. I didn't ask questions. I wanted it that badly, so I put the mask on. I was fine with doing that. And I understand why these people. I understand why they're criticizing and why they're protesting, and I also understand why deputies have to enforce this law, because that's their job. They enforce the mandate and the it's not really law, but they enforce the mandate that the judge issues or the order that the governor issues. And I think sometimes people forget their responsibility in all of this. But tell me, how difficult, because your police are already right now dealing with a lot. How much more difficult is your job made because the people that police find as their natural allies, now you have situations where, like in Fort Worth, I had the video where police were looking at the people who are supporting them and praying for them throughout all these riots and people hunting down cops, and that just makes it all the more tricky. I can't imagine.
I will tell you, in law enforcement right now is the greatest stress that I have ever seen, because we are in between a rock and a hard place, literally, and the stress in law enforcement. All over the country, not only in Tarrant County, but we've had issues with officers with PTSD where we've had to relieve them of duty because of the stress. We know over the country that law enforcement suicide is up higher this year than it has been in the previous years. It was high anyway. So it has been incredibly difficult in these times. But officers keep showing up every day and nobly do that and want to be of service to people, and they don't want to hurt anybody. They don't want to, they just want to make sure the good people are protected and that the laws are equally enforced as best they can.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. It's not, and I know your opinion on masks. Actually, I saw you just the other day. I had my mask, I will say, but it was also super hot in that parking lot.
It was very hot in that parking lot.
It was so
I was
hot.
right there with you.
Yes, sir, you were. I did not. I had it, and my husband had his. My husband is, and I'm a germaphobe too, but at the same time, but and I hope that conservatives and Republicans and people that I would say generally are under that big tent of the quote unquote right realize that you, as it concerns the mask situation, you cannot like the mask situation. You can think it's ridiculous and it's onerous and it's too burdensome and that these decisions shouldn't be made. But to me, it seems a little contradictory to say that you hate it, but yet you voted for the person who implemented the edict, so you can't actually hold responsible because you guys don't write laws. I can't hold law enforcement responsible for supporting the enforcement of an edict that a Republican judge issued or a Republican governor issued. We need to be smart with our votes, and I feel like that is getting lost in all of this, because I've seen Facebook posts, I'm sure you have too, all over about this thing, all over about the situation in Fort Worth. But your thoughts on that? I mean, because I know where you stand. Like I said, we're pretty like-minded. But what would you tell people to do in not just in Tarrant County, but elsewhere around the country? Nobody wants to create a problem. Nobody wants to, purposefully make police engage with them. What would you have folks do?
Well, I'd tell them, one is please comply with the law enforcement. If they ask you to do the X or Y or Z, just do it and take it up in court, sue. Our ballot box is where the place would do it. And I would appeal to people that, from quite frankly, a Christian point of view is that let's try to have peace with each other. Let's try to not make anybody else feel uncomfortable with this mask issue. And I understand people have a right not to wear them in certain circumstances, and I think that's great. But I'm like you. I don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable. I'm not going to go in and debate with a store owner that he has he's mandating mask. If I want to go in there, I'm going to do it. If I'm going to go into a place where the rule is they have to wear a mask, I'm going to wear a mask. If I don't have to wear a mask, quite frankly, I probably will not wear a mask.
I'm happier that a cold front, so to speak, has moved into Texas, because I ordered a couple masks online, Sheriff. Speaking with Sheriff Bill Waybourn of Tarrant County, I ordered a Bane mask from Batman, and I also technically it meets all the requirements. It does meet all the requirements. So I'm just going to say, if you get a call about a woman who's wearing like a giraffe head or a Bane, it's me. It's totally me, and just don't be alarmed. I'm just, I'm doing my duty, but I'm waiting. But it's also, I can't wear it when it's like really hot outside, because it's like all rubber. It's just miserable.
Oh, wow.
But I appreciate what y'all do. Like I said, I know it's not easy. One last quick thing while I have you. There was a report of a McDonald's in Grapevine, Texas, not far from me. We've been seeing these kind of stories with law enforcement around the country where it seems like people are turning food service for officers who are on the job, and they're just trying to have a quick bite to eat before they're back out on the road, kind of trying to turn that into a form of activism. And there was a report of an officer who did not get his order. Instead, he just got a box of lettuce, and it was posted by his significant other on Facebook. And I know we had reached out to this McDonald's, and they had said it was a mix-up, although I don't know necessarily how much of that I believe. It seems like a weird excuse. But what are your thoughts on this? And just talk to the people about what can we do to help support law enforcement at this time.
I appreciate that, and I certainly hope that was a mistake, and I'd be very, very disappointed in McDonald's if that was not, or you said displeased. Is that I think what more than anything is I was in a restaurant yesterday and had one guy that wanted me to make sure I saw his Black Lives Matter mask, and he made sure that he knew he wanted me to know that he was there, and went on. There wasn't any engagement, and then right after that, I had a lady walk up and said, "Hey, I just wanted to stop by and tell you how much I appreciate your service." And I want to tell you that means the world and all to these guys out here driving the streets and trying to protect you and I.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that something that simple is so incredible, and it sure helps motivate them for the day.
Amen to that. And Sheriff, I know that, like I said, I know you understand. You see it from that conservative viewpoint, but you also understand the reasonable concern about things like the virus and that too. And I want to say that we're all praying for your department and you and your deputies, because I know y'all are dealing with a loss right now. Officer Holt, Officer Charles Holt, law enforcement officer that passed just very recently due to the virus. And I know that you all are grieving his passing. Our prayers are with you all and his family too. Thank you all for what you do and putting yourselves out there on the line for the community.
Thank you. Charles was a great guy.
Yeah, he was. God love you, Sheriff. We're praying for y'all. We'll keep you in our prayers. Please let us know what we can do to help in the future. Thank you so much. Sheriff Bill Waybourn, everybody. Thank you.